So what I want to do now is create a fade-in, fade-out effect for 3 movies. So I'm going to take all 3 movies here by pressing Control and drag them down. So I'm going to hide the stuff that I'm not going to work with now so that I have more room. And I need the movies to start sequentially. So let's say I start with the lake, and then I want the butterfly to start. Here I can hide to see what I have. That's the lake. First, I'm going to go to Transform and set the scale to 120%. I'm going to set it for all 3. And because all 3 were selected, whenever I changed one of them, the scale for all 3 changed, which means that this is also 120%, and that's 120%. So everything fills up the screen properly. So anyway, I want to start with the lake. So that's the lake down here. And after some time, I want to see the butterfly. So instead of starting the butterfly from the beginning, I'm going to actually drag it like this so that it starts, let's say 2 seconds later. So that's 2 seconds here. So I can go and take this here. And then I want the bear to start at 4 seconds. So this is 4 seconds. And I want the bear to start at this time here. So you see that the lake movie will start from the beginning. The butterfly, which is this one here, does not start at the beginning. It starts 2 seconds later. So if I scrub the time, I see like this, I go like this, and then I start to see the butterfly. Of course, it has to be visible. So I see the lake, and then I see the butterfly. And after that, which is around 4 seconds, I see the bear. Okay, it works, but I don't have a fading effect, so they just appear suddenly. Let's try to play it and see what we get. If I play it, they appear suddenly. I want them to fade in, right? So first they are transparent, and then they fade in, and then I continue to see the movie. So let's see how this is done. For that, we have to animate the opacity of the layer, which is something we used to do in Photoshop, changing the opacity. Here, we're actually animating the opacity. 0% opacity is transparent, and 100% opacity is fully visible, and anything in between is gradually visible. So let's start with the lake. I'll expand, and there's the opacity. Since I need to animate that, I'll click on the stopwatch. I have a keyframe. It should start transparent and then become visible. So the start value is how much? 0. So I'll set it to 0 at the beginning. And then let's say after 15 frames, so I went to 15 here, it should be how much? It should be 100. It should be visible. So now there's the effect. You see? And it expands. Then I continue. I'm done with the lake for this effect, so I expand the butterfly, and there's the opacity. At the beginning, the opacity, I click on the stopwatch, should be 0. And then 15 frames later, so here I had, let's say 2, so 215. The opacity should be 100. So again, if I scrub the time, you see that nice effect, how the butterfly will gradually show before the other one. Okay, so the last one is also a repetition, so I minimize the butterfly, I expand the bear. I need to animate the opacity again, so I'll just check it. It should start at 0, so that's 0%. So that's around 4. So 415 should be the time when it fully expands, so or fully reveals. So the time that I'm giving for the revelation of each one is 15 frames. So I started at 4 seconds, 0 frames, and then I went to 15 frames. So if I rewind now and press play, first I get the calculation or the preview, and then I get the result. That's the time of my composition, is 12 seconds. Let's say that we just need 8 seconds. So we can just drag this over here. So we just get 8 seconds for our movie. And if I press play, I get my fading effect. Okay, the last thing I want to do before I give you a chance to do it is add some text. Let's say the Animal Planet or Discovery Channel or whatever. Let's say we're doing a documentary for one of these channels, and we need to add text here. So we go to the type tool. First we have to go to when we want the text to start. Let's say that we want it to be from the beginning. So we go back to frame 0, and I'll go to T, and I'll type, let's say, Animal Planet. Alright, and I can move it wherever I like. Now to change the color of my text, I have to change, first of all, the appearance of the text. You can just select it and just give it whatever you like, whichever, change the font and so forth. Now to change the appearance of the text, I have to go to my text tool. So if I go to Window, here I can choose the where is it? Yeah, I can choose the character controls, and let's change the color. I think it's green for the Animal Planet. You can change the font. I'm gonna leave it the way it is, but I'm gonna scale it down by pressing here and pressing Shift and putting it there. And now I'll press play, and there you would get Animal Planet all throughout.